Welcome to Guns, Gear, and Guns with Gary Gunderson. I am Gary Gunderson. Last year, I went to both the Ohio Valley Military Show of Shows in Louisville, Kentucky, and the Tulsa Arms Show in, Tulsa for the first time, both of which are gun shows that I had heard great things about. And with both of these shows coming up within the next few months, you may wonder which one is better. The Ohio Valley Military Show of Shows is once a year every late February, while the Tulsa Arms Show is twice a year each April and November. Admission is $10 a day for Show of Shows and $15 at Tulsa, though there is a weekend pass of $18 for Show of Shows if you go multiple days. Both have a lot of good stuff, and I legitimately believe that if you have the opportunity to go to either, particularly if one is close by, it would not be a bad way to spend a day or maybe two at either one of these. The Tulsa show is clearly larger, more than twice as large, boasting over 4,200 tables, while the Show of Shows is under 2,000. Both have lots of firearms and lots of firearm adjacent items, collectibles, what have you, but Show of Shows is clearly focused on military surplus, militaria, and other historical items. With that being said, I do believe that the Show of Shows is superior, at least for my personal interests. I do have some modern pistols, rifles, and what have you, but my primary area of interest is collecting military surplus. I have an interest in not just the firearms, but also all the accompanying items like bayonets, slings, pouches, etc. Even if you are more interested in modern firearms or your interest is more evenly split, the same weekend as the Show of Shows, there is the National Gun Day Show in Louisville at the same location. They each have one side of a giant exhibit hall. You do have to pay separate admission for each of these shows, but together it's a really good balance between the two. And for what it's worth, even the National Gun Day Show is one of the better gun shows I've been to if you considered it as a standalone show. Even after all that, the Tulsa show is still really good and has a lot of stuff, but it is more of a generic gun show that is just supersized. So it's kind of scattershot and unfocused in comparison. There's certainly a lot to offer, and when I went last year, I saw some military surplus rifles and equipment I had never seen or heard of prior. So that's not to say you won't find anything interesting there, even if you prefer military surplus items. The Tulsa show does have the random people with purses or selling roofing shingles or whatever, and all the other nonsense that takes up space at regular gun shows, while the Show of Shows had none of that last year. Like I said, neither of these shows would be bad, but I have to give the advantage to Show of Shows. It just had such a sharp focus on the items I enjoy. They had vendors full of interesting reference books, medals, uniforms, as well as lots of firearms, which gives it the win in my book. Speaking of Show of Shows, I will be there this year in a few weeks. I'll post a follow-up and maybe something about meeting if people seem interested. That's all for today. What are your thoughts on both shows? Please be sure to leave them in the comments down below. I'm curious what others think about them, especially if they have been to both. Please be sure to support content like this by following me on Patreon, subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and sharing it with others. Thanks for watching.